Hello, everyone. Stephen Daniel here, bringing you the inaugural episode of Papasphere Dad Unplugged. If you followed me over here from Out of Place Podcast, welcome back. It's great to have my loyal listeners here with me. For those of you who are new, welcome. What is Papasphere? Well, Papasphere is all about navigating the wild, wonderful, and often wild world of fatherhood. It's a place where dads come to listen, unplug from the chaos, and relate to the shared experience. We're going to laugh, we're going to learn, we might even cry. Because being a dad isn't just about surviving. It's about thriving and finding joy in the journey, no matter how bumpy the roads get. And it all starts here, with a nod to the Out of Place podcast that set us on this path. So let's dive in, shall we? Welcome to Papasphere Dad Unplugged. Now I want to start with the history of how this started. I started Out of Place in early 2020. It was a no-holds-barred podcast where I said and talked about everything unfiltered. I didn't care who I pissed off or triggered. I wanted to dive into all the sensitive topics. We had skits and segments hosted by a fantastic cast of amazing people. By season 3, the topic started shifting from politics and other hot-button issues to relationship advice. Fast forward to 2023, and I launched Algebra Productions, my very own production company with the podcast subsidiary. Realizing I needed someone to keep stirring the pot on Out of Place, I decided to step down as host to find that perfect provocateur, somebody that would be able to trigger people like I did. You can check out of Place and all of our other podcasts by following the link in the description. We have a total of 25 podcasts in the works. And if you're on Instagram, just click the link in the bio. Stepping away from hosting was necessary to set this all up and to have time to edit these podcasts. I'm the sole editor at the moment and the producer of all of these podcasts, and it left me no time to do any hosting myself and have a life. But I missed it. I miss sitting in front of this mic and just talking. So I found a way to work it into my schedule, and here I am. So this show is going to be all about marriage and kids, real life dad stuff. For those of you that are coming from Out of Place, you're going to hear me revisit many topics that I talked about there, but it's going to have a more mature perspective and a lot more wisdom. This time is just me, no skits and no segments, sharing what I've learned and continuing the conversation in a new, unplugged way. The number one reason I wanted to do this was to leave something for my boys. At 300 pounds and 5'6" right now, I've always had this nagging fear that I might not see them grow up into full-blown adults. I've been working on my health for a while now. When I started this weight loss journey back in 2009, I was about 415 pounds. So I've come a long way since then. For me, I felt like I lost a ton already, even though there are many people that are starting to lose weight where I'm at now. With that fear in mind, I wanted to leave my boys some dad advice they could turn to whenever they needed it. That was a mindset I had during season 3 of Out of Place. This led to my second reason for getting back into the podcasting. People who were fans of Out of Place seemed to genuinely appreciate what I had to say. Many listeners told me I was like a dad to them, or that they had missed my perspective on things or my voice. Now, for those of you who are new, I want to give you a little background on my marriage and kids to answer the question, what makes me qualified to talk about marriage and children? I was born and raised in South Florida. For those of you who like to relate to people who live where you're living, I spent my high school years in Pembroke Pines, specifically Silver Lakes. For those of you who are nosy and curious, I went to Charles W. Flanagan High School in Pembroke Pines and graduated 2004. My wife, on the other hand, was born in South Africa. She's the blonde-haired, blue-eyed type of South African. She moved to the States at 13. We met when she was 17 and I was 18, working at Johnny Rockets in an indoor amusement park for kids called Wanadu City that was located in Sawgrass Mills Mall. It's not there anymore, so don't try to go looking for it. When she showed up on her first day, I was in awe. I'm a sucker for white blondes with great smile, and she had an amazing smile and bright blue eyes. After mustering that courage to talk to her, I promptly got fired. If you want to hear the full story about how I got fired, check out the Wash Your Hands episode from the first season of Out of Place. It's a bit cringy since I was just starting out and I had no clue what the hell I was doing, but it's worth a listen. My good buddy Donnie Evans, an amazing voiceover artist, played Patrick Warburton as I told the story of how I got fired. Spoiler alert, it involves a fuck you burger. I'll put the link to that episode in the description as well. Back to my wife. We got married in 2008 in the courts before she went to boot camp for the military. We bounced all over the United States, starting in Georgia, because my parents moved to Beaufort, Georgia in 2007, and I moved with them, while my wife stayed in South Florida. Our first base after boot camp was in Seattle, Washington, and we lived at Bangor Naval Base in Kitsap County. I loved it there. I started working for MET, the merchandising execution team for Home Depot, and I was actually among the first groups of MET when it started. While working with MET, we were working at various Home Depots around the area. In 2009, we moved all the way back across the country to Key West, Florida. Key West was a fun place, a non-stop adult party, almost like a toned-down Vegas without the casino. Just look up Fantasy Fest, and I warn you that it is not suitable for work type of content. Our first son, Nicholas, was born in 2012. That's when we decided I should become a stay-at-home parent due to the high cost of daycare. When it was time for him to start school, we decided to homeschool because of the crappy school system we encountered in our military travels, which I'll discuss homeschooling in the future episode. In 2013, my wife was stationed in Baltimore, Maryland, and we lived in Fort Meade, an Army base about 30-something minutes south of Baltimore. Our second son, Nathaniel, was born in 2014. In 2015, we moved to Alameda, California, in the Bay Area near San Francisco. Our third and last son, Christian, was born in 2016. As you can see, our boys were born in different states. I find that amazing. In 2019, my wife was stationed in Southern California, specifically in the Los Angeles area, and we lived in Irvine. 2022, with her latest promotion to chief, we moved to Charleston, South Carolina, where we are still stationed as of this recording. And we live in Somerville, South Carolina. We bought our first house here in Cane Bay area. It was exciting to see it go from the dirt to a completed home. We finally moved into our new home in 2023 after living at Goose Creek Naval Station. And here we are, still married, but with no plans for more kids. I closed the factory in California, if you know what I mean. That's the brief history of me, and as the episodes come in, you're going to learn more about who I am. To all you amazing listeners, what I hope this podcast does for you is to show you that having a great relationship with your spouse and raising kids is easier than you might think. By using logic, experience, and listening to those who are older and more experienced, I have learned to cultivate an almost perfect marriage. I'll be upfront with you, as I promise I always will do. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage. Every relationship has its ups and downs, and it's normal to face emotional challenges along the way. Throughout this podcast, I'm going to teach you how to navigate these imperfections and challenges so that you can achieve that almost perfect relationship. I like statistics. I like numbers. Like when you take a month, and out of the whole 31 days of the month, and we only argue 2 days, I love that percentage of like, oh, okay, we were 90-something% had amazing happy days. And there are many people out there who can't even make it half the month, can't even make it the first week, can't even make it the first 2 days. I can probably say that my wife and I have that silver screen love. Think of the happily ever after you see at the end of The Notebook or your favorite love story, whether it's from a film, TV show, graphic novel, or a book. I hope that through this podcast, you and your amazing partner can learn more about communication, quality time, keeping the romance alive, supporting each other, appreciating each other, setting goals, respecting one another, and remembering that the love and connection you share can be stronger than any small differences or conflicts. I'm going to help you both embrace each other's flaws and work together to overcome anything that comes your way. We'll also cover many topics on being a parent, including unconditional love, setting boundaries, being a role model, actively listening, spending quality time, supporting your child's interests, staying consistent, teaching gratitude, encouraging independence, and so much more. So please join me and let's embark on this journey together towards stronger relationships and more fulfilling family lives. As we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with the thought Life is like a road filled with potholes and turns and unexpected detours. In our relationship and our roles as parents, we are not supposed to strive for perfection. It's just going to drive you nuts. We got to strive for a connection, strive to grow, and strive to understand. Remember, every problem that seems like the end is an opportunity to strengthen your bond with your loved ones. Every minute of your life is a chance to create memories that will last a lifetime. I invite you all to join me on this adventure. Let's explore the ups and the downs, the laughter, the tears, and every little thing in between. We can learn together, we can grow together, and we can become the best versions of ourselves for the ones we love. Thank you for tuning in to Papasphere, Dad Unplugged. I'm excited to share this adventure with you, and I can't wait to see where it takes us. Until next time, keep striving for that almost perfect life and cherish every moment with your loved ones. And in this show, I'm going to sign out the way I've always did in Out of Place. I love you, I appreciate you, and always remember to smile.